Hi, JJ here from 22 Explosive Hits, coming at you with another No Ktel Thursday. And this time I want to show you, I'm into movies, so I've been collecting movies since I can remember, probably when they started coming out in the early 80s. I remember I had Beta, I had VHS, and then I moved on to Laserdisc. When I got to college, I found out about Laserdisc, and I found out that these are kind of the earlier DVDs. They're more than just a movie if you bought them in certain brands. And this is actually a Criterion collection of Raging Bull, and it actually has on the back credits and all this different extra information. If anyone's never seen a Laserdisc, for those of you who might not remember, this is what they look like. They kind of look like a large CD, if you see that right there. And this particular one has four sides to it. There were two types of Laserdiscs. One was CAV, and the other one was CLV. The one could fit 60 minutes of video on one side, so they would show it was still in digital, or this version, which is the CAV, which would show it frame by frame by frame by frame, and you can only put 30 minutes on a side. The frame by frame by frame made for a much better picture because it was an actual same frames per second that you actually watched the movie in when you saw it in the theater. So the pause on it was superb of anything that was out at that time. Plus, they would add extra audio tracks. So on this particular release, this is a Criterion collection. You actually get to hear Martin Scorsese and his editor talking about the movie while it's actually going on. So that was one of the extras that was on this film. They actually had to remind people that this was all Laserdiscs. Most of them were actually, and a lot of them were in letterbox format, not full screen. Even because at the time, all TVs were still square. These were showing the actual letterbox to try to preserve the actual film. So it was actually a cool way for film buffs to actually get to see the film the actual way it was in the theater. I remember explaining to many a relative when that first came out was, no, the black bars at the bottom of the screen are normal. They're supposed to be there. So this is Raging Bull. It's one of my favorite ones that I own. I still play this one from time to time. I really enjoy it. I have an up converter that converts makes it actually for a pretty good picture actually for what I have. On the back here's the credits to the movie. And again, this one particular one looks like record. It's really funny too. If you go to Goodwill, you'll actually see these in the records because I think the people that are younger that work there think they're records and they put them out. It's actually funny. I've seen that many times. Another one to show is one of my favorite films. This is a CLV, and this one it's the Oliver Stone movie Talk Radio with Eric Bogosian. Eric Bogosian, he was also, if people remember, the bad guy in Under Siege 2. He did this film. He wrote and did a play called Talk Radio. It was based on a talk show host from Denver that was very controversial and actually got to the point where somebody murdered him. And that's what this is about. How he really kind of like he's a shock jock and gets people all angry and gets people all emotional about what he says. But a lot of it really is just for entertainment and him just actually saying what he thinks. But there's actually a point in the film when like somebody sends him a Nazi flag because he's Jewish, and he has this hard rocker guy on at one point that's just kind of a loser guy. He has him on just to kind of to prove a point. This one actually has Ellen Green on it, and here's the disc right there. And you see the disc right there, laser disc. And the next ones I want to show for my laser discs that I picked are my I have soundtracks and the laser disc, so I have both together here. One's a vinyl. Which one's which? Let's figure it out now. This is the vinyl. This one's the laser disc of the movie. This is one of my favorite films by Tom Hanks. It's called Nothing in Common. It's actually fun because he's in advertising in the movie, and the people that do like the advertising are on his team. We're from Second City, and actually the guy that did the voice of Homer on The Simpsons is actually one of the guys on his advertising team in the movie. But probably one of his best performances early on that actually showed that he really had promise as a really good actor. As well as I thought Jackie Gleason kind of went out with a bang with one of the best performances that he ever did too, as his dad. So this is the laser disc of this movie. I have this on DVD. I have this on. It never came on Blu-ray then, but I do have it on DVD. I have it on and Laserdisc right here. Here's the soundtrack. The soundtrack is actually kind of rare. It's hard to find. It came out in CD record back in the mid '80s. Really never get much of a re-release. On it is for a set list to give you an idea. The soundtrack is Thompson Twins, Richard Marx, Carly Simon, Nick Haywood, Christopher Cross. I know Richard Marx was a studio musician, but this is like his first solo that he ever did. That song that you didn't hear never winds up on any of his compilations because he did it on such an off label that he can't release it there. Aretha Franklin, The Kinks, Reel to Reel, Cruzados, and Pat Leonard. And this particular one's a promotional copy right here that I got a hold of. So yeah, here's the soundtrack to Nothing in Common. And the next one I have is the Laserdisc and the vinyl. The Laserdisc right here is a Criterion copy of Tootsie. It's a great film with Dustin Hoffman and Bill Murray. One of my favorite Bill Murray. People always say, "Who's your favorite Bill Murray performance?" I always say Tootsie. His lines in there are phenomenal. On the back, it has really good pictures. See that there, right there. And there's a nice gatefold in the middle too, as well. On the Laserdisc. Kind of make Laserdisc nice. I wish DVDs would have such huge and nice artwork like this today. I mean, they don't do anything like this on DVDs or Blu-rays. This is again a CAV. Most Criterion Collection releases were CAVs. They did everything in frame by frame. They knew they were catering to the movie buff, so we didn't mind flipping the disc every 30 minutes. Some people found it annoying. I liked the quality, so I didn't mind. But this is a really good release. Cindy Pollock has an extra track on this one as well, talking about the film, the making of the film, and there's the Laserdisc. I also have the vinyl right here. Still have the hype sticker on it, as well as it was a selection for '84, so you can get it for $4.99 back then. This was by Stephen Bishop. It had "It Might Be You," and he had a montage on here, and the song Tootsie and Media Zap was his tunes. I like the artwork in this one a lot. I like how it's the two of them, and then their feet continue on the back. I thought that was really creative for the artwork on this particular record. And again, brilliant performance by Dustin Hoffman, especially Bill Murray. I even thought Sidney Pollock was good as his agent in this role as well. So that was a really cool one that I have. And last but not least, I want to show Star Wars. I showed this on May the Force Be With You. This is a gatefold. This is the original '77 release of the soundtrack. This is not a reissue. I think it sounds great, actually. It's on 20th Century Fox label. Show you the vinyl here. Here's the 20th Century Fox label. Right there. And this one was fun because it also has on it the original advertising for merchandise, for t-shirts from 1977. And you had to wait 4 to 6 weeks for delivery, only in the U.S. And you had to mail in the little slip here. You mailed in the slip, and then you got your stuff. There's no Amazon, no internet. That's how they did it back then. So, found that fascinating. But here's what I really wanted to show. I showed this on May the 4th Be With You as well. On Rachel's show, I believe I showed this one. This is Star Wars Trilogy, the definitive collection. You will not find this one anymore. I don't think they'll even ever release it on DVD. I get that impression. Probably never in my lifetime. I dream of seeing the theatrical version someday, but I don't think that's going to happen. This one is a CAV of all the Star Wars films of the original trilogy, and this is pre-special edition, so you don't have any of the extra added effects. This is the way it was in '77, pretty much, and '80 with Empire Strikes Back, '83 with Return of the Jedi. This is originally the way it was, and makes it really cool. The only thing I think that was added on here is that it does announce that it's episode 4 for Star Wars. That was on the original Star Wars. It just says Star Wars. It does not have Episode 4 in the crawl in the beginning. But to give you an idea, it's a really cool set. When I got a Laserdisc player back, it was one of the first ones I wanted to have. It first comes with a book, right here, a rare book. This is a book on George Lucas, the creative impulse, and it has like lots of different pictures in here. Like there's some pictures from American Graffiti, kind of like all on George Lucas and all his journey through making the Star Wars films. It's a really cool book to have, pretty rare to have as far as for a Star Wars collector. I know some Star Wars collectors I've heard online that just buy this. They didn't have a Laserdisc player. They just want to have this book and have it as to be a completist in their collections. But what they did was this really cool packaging. They have on here another booklet. This gives you the kind of the guide to the books as well. Lets you know what all the chapters are, what's on each one, extras, all that kind of stuff. Lets you know all that stuff that's on here. It does have the Making of Star Wars documentary on here as well. The discs come in these black cases. There's Return of the Jedi to give you an example. And they come in really cool sleeves. It's falling on me. Hold on. All right. So they're all this way, but they kind of come in these really cool black sleeves. They're all CAV, so they just have so many frames per second. But if I'm going to watch Star Wars on Star Wars Day, this is the version I'm usually watching. I go back and I watch my Laserdisc of Star Wars just so I can experience pretty much the actual theatrical versions I remember as a kid from 1977 without remembering them all to be all special editioned up and all crazy. Yeah, and they come in these really cool, again, I mentioned before, these black labels. It has the credits on the back. Really well put together. Pretty rare. They didn't release too many of these to begin with. And this version that I got this from Goodwill for a really good price, actually. It has on all I still kept on here the tag that advertises all the different content that's on here. So it says 9 discs with 18 sides, outstanding new letterboxes, audio tracks, 16-page guidebook to the trilogy itself, and then the George Lucas, the creative impulse. And then for extras on here, it has an interview with George Lucas, Ben Burt, Dennis Muren, Ken Ralston, Ralph McQuarrie, and Frank Oz. And then previously unseen raw footage, which they now have this on the Blu-ray, but at that time it wasn't. An exclusive tour of the prop room, Industrial Light and Magic Workshop, theatrical trailers for each film, the music video from Return of the Jedi that they did, and the storyboards. So this is kind of like the definitive, like you would have like for a Blu-ray or anything like that. So this is really awesome. So that's what I wanted to show for today. Kind of give you guys a little bit insight into my Laserdisc and my vinyl collection. I just want to remind the vinyl community, let's bring each other up rather than bring each other down. Have a great day.